So the next record that we're jumping into is surprise. It's Acacia Strain again.
What?
All right. So this isn't the Acacia Strain fan club. We're not endlessly hyping up the band. We're not talking about nothing but hey, let's keep it on the deathcore train. But we felt it would be fun to talk about this record transitioning from the last one because there's multiple things standing out about it. It is a phenomenal release to me. Pretty much you're looking at a release on July 24th. Just came out. Runtime of 12 tracks, 43 minutes. You got your deathcore, you got your metalcore. Fun fact about this: #1 in the charts, baby.
Hell yeah.
Rock music, #1. It broke a ton of charts, broke a ton of records, putting out. This band has a wild fan base. They follow it. They're on the train. They're going with it. Pretty much same core band that wrote the last record, but totally different shift. This was the album name is very appropriate to its release because this thing was a long thing coming. Because they first started teasing 7 inches, saying like, "Hey, we got new music, and we're not even talking about an LP. It's just here's the 7-inch." And they started with D, then they moved on to E, eventually got to C, got to A, got to Y, and then surprise, we got an LP for you guys. Songs that stood out to me is definitely Cross Gates.
Fuck yeah.
It sounds like a new version of Car Bomb, which was from their 3750 record. So it's just it's cannons going off for an entire song. Mosh parts are a lot. There's a ton of mosh parts, but there's a lot of surprising sludge aspects on it. There's riffs that sound like Crowbar. There's riffs that sound like New Orleans. And they did not stand out to me on the first listen. On the first listen I went through with this, I was bored, and not in a rude way, but it wasn't grabbing and standing out to me. A lot of what was going on, and then I'm like, you know what? Let me give it another shot. Let me dive back in. And on my second go around, stuff started like standing out to me. A riff here, a riff there. I wrote down, because I knew we were going to talk about this. I wrote down in the song "A Thousand Painful." It's "A Thousand Painful Things," I think. On 1 minute and 24 seconds in, there is one of the most ridiculous drum fills I've heard in the last year, and I did not expect that from this band. It is just all over the place. There's bells going, there's snares, there's toms. It's wild. What did you guys think about the record?
Well, so to be honest, I was slightly disappointed with the record. I still like the record. I think like production wise, they've never sounded better. Songwriting wise, it's great. It was a little expected. Like when I first heard it, I was like, I know exactly what this is. I know who it is. I know what I'm listening to. And the only reason why I felt that way was because of the fucking last record. That's why we were talking about the last record. Is when I know it's an EP, but it was such a surprise, and I got really excited. I was like, man, when they blend these two sounds, it's fucking awesome. This is what I want. So, when you just get more of the old, which, I don't want to say it all sounds like that because it doesn't, but I was hoping a little bit more of that fucking sludgy doomness from the last record.
Dude, I wanted the last record more.
Yeah.
It was almost, I was showing a window at this band can give us more of that. And then I was shown a different window. And it's not a bad departure. It's a good record, but it kind of is. It wasn't what I was hoping for. I got a Christmas gift that wasn't the bicycle, but it's Rock'em Sock'em Robots, and that's cool.
That's cool too. You could play that as well. Yeah.
The bike.
Yeah. I mean, also, I thought the release cycle was badass. I mean, I love shit like that. Little collectathons. They literally gave us the whole record. They were just like, Well, obviously it was a slow drip of the whole record. They gave us 10 songs before the actual record came out, which is 12 songs. They showed us really quickly who's featured on the record. Some of the most badass features on this fucking record. My favorite track is the Lucid Dream. I think that's the best feature on the record. It's disgusting.
It's so cool. Too.
Yeah, it's so fucking cool. It's fighting music,
really
man.
cool.
It's badass.
It is.
And just like I said, the production and sound is top quality. You know what I mean? It doesn't get better than the record sounds thick. Everything's nice and clear. But I wish there's a little bit more. It comes in waves in there.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
were any of
what were you gonna say?
Sorry, I didn't mean to
No.
If there were any, I was gonna ask if there were any of the guest spots on the record aside that stood out a lot to you, totally different, or impressed you, you liked, you didn't like. What did you think about the guest spots on the record?
I mean, it was kind of cool, right? Like, I had kind of looked into a little bit of it just to see who featured. I like that there's a lot of features on this record. I'm kind of in agreement with you guys that the Lucid Dream is probably the best feature, just because the vocals come through really strong on that song. So I think the Lucid Dream is probably the track with the best feature. I like seeing.
Is that the one with? Is that the one with Jesus Piece or?
No, it's Jess Nix.
Oh, she's there. Not sure what the pronoun is. They're in Mortality Rate.
Yes.
That band is pissed. It's really solid hardcore band, metallic influences. Their voice is insane. It just cuts straight to you, man, and it really beats you up. They did a guest sample on, I think it was Judiciary, and also those vocals just shine through. It's a very distinct sound. Mine was probably Aaron with Jesus Piece was probably my favorite one.
Yeah, he sounds vicious, heavy. He has that thick fucking growl. You know what I mean? So that fucking Jess's feature, she's yelling with her whole fucking soul. You know what I mean? It's like, holy shit! It's like a blood curdling scream. You know, I fucking love it.
Yeah, it's like from the feet. It's like just everything's coming out, and it really cuts through. And so it's like tonally, the back and forth there is really cool. And it sucks because I don't want the shining moments on this record to be the guest spots, because there's a ton of amazing riffs on here, and there's a ton of amazing parts of really like tonally cool stuff. But fuck, man, that's some cool flavor going on with this stuff. It's really cool. Like it shocks the hell out of you, like with like hearing it like on top of what you would expect to be an Acacia Strain record.
Emilio, how do you just a quick question, Emilio?
Sure.
Because we don't really talk about deathcore that much. How do you feel about the genre deathcore? Like just in general.
All right, so here's the thing. It can be really good.
Right.
It can be very fucking heavy and vicious, and sometimes, the genre produces those riffs where you kind of just make that like stink face where you're like, oh shit. But it runs the risk of being very cookie cutter, and that's just my opinion. You know what I mean? I think that the genre can be very cut and paste. It's like that band sounds like that band sounds like that band sounds like that band.
Yeah.
Where's the new shit? You know what I mean? And again, not to fucking praise it again, but that's like what's so cool about like it comes in waves, because it's not that. You know what I mean? It's like a deathcore, hardcore band's take on like, okay, let's just do some fucking sludgy shit. So when it comes to deathcore and that, kind of genres that bleed into it can be really good, but it runs the risk of getting like too cookie cutter.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of those bands, you know. I like the genre. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but some bands just kick ass. This band, but others, to me, I feel like they put so much fucking value on the breakdown. You know what I mean? That like, oh, what we're about to do,
Too much value.
exactly. It's gonna be like, build up to the breakdown, and then you get that like hard cut in between each sound where it's like gun gun, gun gun, like what I mean, shit like that, and
Ride bell.
yeah, it's either a ride bell or a fucking China that bites really hard. That stuff is the first time you hear it, you're like, holy fuck, that's nuts. Look at these guys. These guys are crazy. And then the second time you hear it, like, I know what's about to happen. Then the third time you're like, well.
The weird thing is, man, like the weird thing is with this album, like, it's not the bike, you know what I mean? Or it's the Rock'em Sock'em Robot. It's really fucking cool. You wanted the bike. But with that being said, like there's nothing wrong with it. Like every track is solid, every track is heavy. We saw I don't know how to pronounce their last name, Courtney LaPlante or Plant. That was kind of cool to see pop up because I think they're involved in I Wrestled a Bear once towards the end. I always thought that band was weird as shit in middle school. But
that was a fun band, man.
Dude,
like,
no, they're now being older, like they're sick.
There weren't many like that at the time.
Yeah.
Which for me helps define the genre. Because I don't want to say deathcore was a new thing in that early 2000s, but it became like a thing. Because before it, you had like true metalcore and metallic hardcore, but like I didn't know of many deathcore bands until I heard Acacia Strain. Like I knew Acacia Strain, I knew On Broken Wings, and like and Despised Icon. So like when
Despised
I think
Icon.
of, yeah, right. Like so when I think of the genre, I think that was like the shit that was in, man. Oceano. It's like I don't need any of those bands anymore. Like, because I got them, and that doesn't mean that new stuff can't come around, but there were so many bands trying to be those bands. It felt like, to me at least, it's like there was something new and cool, and it was showing up, and then everybody just kept repeating the cycle. So for like with this Acacia Strain release, they for their path as a band, they really paved the way for a lot of these deathcore bands that were coming after them, and each release that they did kept going further and further and further. It felt like, because with Deadwalk, when you get to Continent, totally different record. When you get from Continent till you get to Wormwood, it's like, hey, we're doing Meshuggah stuff now. Now
yeah,
we're heavier, and that was like Gent wasn't like a huge thing then. It was just like, you had that industrial metal, you had like Godflesh, you had Fear Factory, you had that really deep mechanical sound that they then tapped into for deathcore, and they really brought into a new thing for this. And after that, I think it was Coma Witch that was next, and
yes, I believe so.
Grave Bloom after that.
Grave Bloom.
Coma Witch and Grave Bloom. It wasn't for me. I wasn't crazy about those records. They felt the same, and I would listen to it and I would go, I'm not gonna put this in because I'm not really into deathcore like I used to be, and it's not really grabbing me. There's a huge audience for it. They have a great fan base. And there's not necessarily anything wrong with those records, but they felt the same. This feels like a departure from that, but it's in the same arena. This is, hey, this record does not sound the same as those. This is the best one that they've done since Wormwood, I would go with.
Right. And what's cool, man, is like
not counting It Comes with Waves. That's for me.
Right. Dude, it's like a whole different fucking category almost of their sound. But what's cool with releases like this and bands which are so iconic, kind of like this, something that comes to mind. Jay, just for a moment, I like that, man. When you did your headphones adjustment right there for a moment, you kind of put it over your eyes, and you looked like, yeah, I like that.
Like the
That's
guy
good.
from Star Trek.
Yeah, keep that, keep that. But no, in all seriousness,
oh my god,
you
this just turned
what
into a deathcore. This is a deathcore chat now, and now
I
you
know.
got the image going on. So,
But like it's kind of like when iconic bands set a new precedent, right? And you see it with bands like Electric Wizard. They release something like Witch Cult Today, and they say, "Hey, we sound like this now,"
wait, that
and
came out
bands will
today?
follow.
What?
There's new Electric Wizard.
Well, no, Witch Cult Today, what is I think a 2008 release.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
But it was a
A
different
lot of
sound.
mhm.
Like they kind of went a different direction, and kept qualities of that direction. But like since that release, there were a lot of maybe like stoner doom bands that kind of took that sound. They were kind of shifting the genre, and that's maybe what I get here a little bit. Like they're setting a new precedent. Like, hey, like this is how far you can take the genre. Like this is what you want to. This is what you want to aim for to maybe bands who are trying to follow that sound.
All right. So
They definitely impressed me. They definitely impressed me with this one.
Agreed.
Shane, what would you give this record?
I'm going with 7.
7.
Partially, yeah. And that doesn't mean that it's like if we're looking at grades that it's a C, because if we're going with grades, I would go it's a B plus. But I'm going with a 7, simply because if I went into if I deep dove this without the 7-inch pressing release cycle leading up to it, then it would have been more of a fresh dissection of the record, because with my like Spotify release radar, and with the singles that came out, when the singles would drop, I would listen to them because I want to check them out.
Yes.
And then they would be in my release radar for the next week. So it was I don't know, probably 3 months of listening to having the Acacia strain get into the rotation, and it was these songs. So like when I hear singles, like they get me excited for the record, and that's what they're supposed to do. However, because there were so many singles, it kind of took the shock and awe of something new and exciting away from it, because you knew what was coming. It was like, because okay, so there's 2, or I forget how many, like there were 4 or 2 songs that weren't previously released when the
2 songs.
2,
yeah,
2 remaining. Okay, yeah. So when I finally got the thing in full, it's like, cool. Okay, I know where the road's going.
Yes.
Right. And then I'm listening to the record, and like my first listen, I skipped 2 or 3 songs, because it's like I heard this one enough. Next, it's like I want it, like it's 2020. We want our stuff. We want it now, but we also we want the excitement. So when you're exposed to something over a period of time, that kind of drags away from it. So for me, I'm going with a 7, simply because of the release cycle. I would go 8 if it was a fresh listen. However, what I do like about it is that the unreleased songs that weren't previously released, or the ones released on the later 7 inches, because I would listen to the what is it, the A and Y.
Yes.
I listened to them like once, probably, like when they dropped. When I'm returning, because I knew we were going to be talking about this record, so I listened to it for probably about 3 or 4 times. And like I was saying previously, stuff stands out, and there's cool stuff. There's New Orleans sludge riffs in there that I was not expecting to find on this record. And if we're going true deathcore, Acacia Strain, it's their best record since Continent. However, it comes in waves, beats it over the head with a hammer.
I agree.
That's it for me.
And I think the release cycle, I don't want to say spoiled the record, but when I heard the record, I was just like, I've heard the record. I've heard this. I still think Content is actually better than this record, just because there's some riffs on that record that are just fucking ridiculous.
I love that record, man.
I love that
record. It's a cool record. It's also a very hardcore record. Like,
Yeah.
There's a lot of punk still in that band.
Yeah.
At that point, not that it has gone away, but it's there, man, and it shines.
You know, I'd probably, I would rate this the same as It Comes in Waves if they didn't give me all the whole record before it fucking came out, because it's a great record. I'd give it a 7 out of 10 as well. You son of a bitch. All right, Emilio.
You beat me last time.
Yeah. Emilio.
I swear to God, if you say 7,
I will go to your house and strangle you. What do you think,
Listen. I'm sorry to do this
bud?
because I know you've just threatened my life, but I'm gonna give it a 7.
God
Because
damn it!
In my heart, how I feel.
Asshole.
Like I feel that's fine. I will be that person.
This was all planned.
I will go to Mordor. I will take the asshole association. It's a real thing. I've got my card.
No, you're
asshole
Sam. You're
association.
Sam Bean right now, dude.
I know. That's fine. The fucking. Oh, Mr. Frodo! Don't go where I can't
dude.
follow. Sam Bean. Sam Bean from
Sam-
fucking the Iron and Wine. Is that
No,
name?
Is there another
uh,
Sam Bean?
No, the dude in the Fellowship that got shot full of arrows. Why am I blanking on the name right now?
Oh, Boromir.
Boromir.
Yeah, you're Boromir right now. You're being Boromir.
Chlorophyll.
Like,
More like
Borophyll.
Borophyll. Anyway,
like, dude, you were like you're on the team. We're doing it. We're doing the right thing. You slipped just a little bit, but you got redemption, so it's okay.
it's fine. He was cool in the end. He blows his horn. He pats Frodo on the head when they're on the mountain. Kind of a dick. Whatever.
He redeems himself.
I will be Boromir.
That's where everybody cried
7.
in that
Yeah, that's
fucking
true.
movie.
7.
When he tells Aragorn, he's like, I would follow you,
My king.
my king. But yeah, man, it's a good record. You know what I mean? It's got all the right qualities that it should have. But yeah, I don't
It's
know.
a deathcore record.
I don't have much to say about it, in all honesty.
It's all right.
I thought it was good. It's heavy as shit. It's good driving music, as weird as that sounds.
It's good
but,
workout
that
music.
makes sense.
This is shit you lift iron with and you put it down.
Yeah.
But anyways, that about from what I know, I think that about wraps up album reviews.
You made it to the end of the video, champ. If you want more, subscribe and hit the sub notification bell to stay current on all Church of Riffs content. Hit the like button if you like the video, you ding dong.
Leave a comment about your favorite riff. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, the works. And to watch it all go down live, follow us on Twitch at Church of Riffs.
Links in the description below.
Worship
Worship Riffs.
Riffs.
Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.